G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 4 of my Drain Essence Apostate playthrough with Manfred here. Now, I have some corrections on the previous episode. I stated that Merrick Aether Touch the Charger was a bounty, and I had the wrong guy. The one you actually want is Rostov the Aether Flame here. Merrick is randomly spawned. Unfortunately, I got that one wrong, so that is completely my fault. Yeah. Rostov also doesn't drop the Ascended Cask. He does drop the Shoulders. So I went and killed him a couple of times, and I'm gonna show you where he spawns. It's very, very easy to find him. He has 3 spawn locations, and they're all just outside of Crumbley's hideout. So we can get some pretty good Shoulders, and then I am going to actually show my run through of this area to get the Spectral Binding. The Ascended Cask. So first place we want to check is just here by this tree. It's not this guy. He's this one here. So there's 2 spawn locations of the 3 are just outside of Crumbley's lair. He hasn't dropped it this time, but he has a pretty good chance of dropping Ascended Shoulder Plates here. The other location where he can spawn, if you don't get these 2, it's all the way up here. So if I didn't get these 2, I would actually just reset and go again. Now, I am going to come back down here and kill Ash again, because he's made out of reputation and potentially loot, so I'm going to kill him. Stone-Hided of the Boar. These are pretty good pants. These are really good pants, actually. Yeah, I probably should use these pants instead of the Explorer stuff. I'll hang on to the Explorer stuff, though. You can put these on when you turn in quests and get 5% more XP from the quest. So it's good to hang on to these. It's annoying to have to swap them in and out all the time, but it could be good. Also dropped the Spellmaker's Grip. One of the times that I killed... is it Rostov? Yeah, one of the times I killed him, he dropped the Spellmaker's Grip, which are okay gloves, very low on the armor side of things, but every stat on there is really good, except the Chaos damage and the +2 to Soleil's Witchfire. Everything else on there is really good. Once again, pointing out it's a blue item with good bonuses, but no resistances, so I may not end up using them. And also the Etched Horn of Rituals here was another item that dropped for me. +2 to Inquisitor's Seal. Again, we will be using Inquisitor's Seal down the road. But this is another Elemental Seal proc, which goes in your offhand. So I could have 2 of these now. Now, I was hoping to get the Ascended Shoulder Plates of the Eighth Flame or of Insight. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, unfortunately. However, I did have some pretty good drops, and the best one is definitely not this one, although the resistances on here are good. The things I'm looking for is the percentage on the Elemental to Aether conversion, which, I mean, realistically... I'm looking at this because I have Elemental procs, right? Oh, I got rid of that one, didn't I? This is Elemental, but hey, some of that cold damage is Aether now. So 36 here is actually the maximum roll on that conversion, so that's pretty good. The stats on this are also quite good. Mighty of the Boar is all that physique, spirit, percent physique, all that good stuff. And the armor percentage there is 8%, which I believe is the max roll on these as well. So this one is really good for rolls, but it's kind of bad to mid on affixes, because, I mean, stats are good and all, but, you know, I would prefer some other stuff. This one is probably the best in terms of just kind of overall, just for resistances. Actually, I take that back. This one's the best for resistances. But the conversion percentage there is quite bad. Either one of these would be fine. Honestly, this one is also fine, but I really want resistances at this point. So I am actually going to go with the worst conversion percentage there. And if you can compare it to this, it's actually not super bad. It's 1% less conversion, but I get more Aether damage, I get more armor, I get more everything resist, and some stun resistance as well. So I'm going to swap that in. And I'm going to go ahead and do another run through Crumbley's lair, because I do want the helmet. This is a level 12 helmet. It's only 78 armor. It's getting a little long in the tooth. In fact, if you put your mouse over the armor rating here, it is actually my lowest armor piece, so I do want to replace it. relatively quickly. Okay, we'll chuck that on there. My piercing is now capped. I want another scaled hide here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think I was talking about that last episode, so I should have already done it, I think. But I definitely do want to do it. So scaled hide on the pants. There we go. Right. With that done, actually, I'm going to create another one just in case I forget to take these pants off at some point. So more shoulders may be really good, but I'm kind of okay with shoulders for the moment, so I'm not going to reset the Aether Flame here and go kill him again because he can't drop the helmets. And helmets is what I want. So let's go ahead and jump into... Actually didn't want this one, but as long as I'm here, I do have a quest for some royal jelly. So is this enough royal jelly? Thank you for the blueprint. This is a regeneration potion. It's kind of weak, so I'm just going to burn through it. Whenever I notice I don't have one active, I'm going to turn it on. And let's go run through Crumbley's lair. So I'm here looking for Aether helmets, which means there is exactly 3 things that I want to kill for those helmets. The first thing I want to kill is any of the Crumbley's gang ascended enemies. They are the only enemies that can drop it, so I want to kill them. Anyone that looks like it's got a green helmet on, basically, I want to kill. So none of these guys so far have green helmets, so I don't care about them. He's got a green kind of shoulder thing, but he's not wearing a helmet, so I don't care about him. There's usually a couple by now, actually. Anyway, none of them have green helmets, so I'm ignoring all of them. The other 2 things I want to kill is the heroes. So I'm going to kill Moneybags when I find him because he's made out of dynamite, and I like dynamite. And Merrick and Idon. So this guy right here, Merrick, the Aether Touch. There's a helmet. Mage Storm of Thunder. That's probably good enough. He's got a pretty good chance to drop the helmet. He didn't actually drop it, which is annoying, but Mage Storm is fine. Thunder is useless. Actually, it does boost the elemental damage here a bit. So I'm going to finish this run and then call it done. I don't want to spend forever farming for these things. I spent literally 5 minutes killing the other guy to get a decent enough pair of shoulders. And I'm going to do 1 run through here to get a helmet. You can, if you wish, do a few more. I am definitely not doing any more. I've got a helmet. That's enough. The fact that it came with Mage Storm definitely helps, but that's it. If I get a better one, great. And if I don't, that's also great. No, I'm getting 1. And I'm going to call that good enough. So we're getting an armor upgrade here. We're getting Aether damage upgrade here. Skyfallen is nice. Lightbringers could be... No, that's actually really bad. And Hound's Bite, obviously, is not for us. So, Mage Storm is really good because it's Aether and Lightning. Thunder is useless because it's lightning, and we don't really do lightning. Some of that elemental, sure. But the real winner, I guess, here is the +3 to Spectral Binding, which is going to give me... I mean, watch my health when I put this on. Boom, 700 additional health. And that's all coming from those +3 to Spellbinders, because there's no other health on either of these items. So, yeah, basically 700 extra hit points for wearing this helmet. The 151 Aether damage to Spectral Binding, unfortunately, is useless because we don't do weapon damage. Yeah, this does. Some of the procs will do weapon damage, but most of them won't. But that's no good. But we do get the 6% fizz resistance on Spectral Binding, which is quite good. We will be changing this helmet later, I'm pretty sure. Let me bring the plan up. I should have this active already, but anyway, I don't. Okay, the plan. Fetton Mask, actually, so we may end up using this for quite a while. There's almost certainly going to be something better at some point, though, so I'm not going to make a habit of farming this every 15, 20 levels. But we'll see what drops. Let's get some more Spirit here, and I've got 3 skill points, so all of these are maxed out. This one... It's Aether to Cold. No, we don't want that. There was a change to this one, Grave Chill. I'm pretty sure changed recently. This used to do something else. I think it was total damage. For some reason, I was thinking they took the conversion off, but obviously not. That would brick too many builds. Okay, that is a lot of additional energy for 2 points. I definitely want to put the point in the bar here. I'm level 25. I've only got 21 points in the bar because I have one over here, which is a little bit low. So we are being carried absolutely by Spectral Bindings, additional 2,000 hit points. So we can afford to go a little bit light on the skill on the bar. Also, I think I've got a couple of items that give me a bunch of stats. There's a bunch of spirit. Anyway, we can afford to go a little bit light on the skill bar for the moment. I am also going to put a point in Ill Omen at some point for devotion procs, but not yet. So what I might do is, I think I'm just going to sit on those points. I don't need to kill Crumbley, but I will because he drops rings and because he's here. If I had to, if I was still at the... Okay, that's Spectral Wrath doing that damage, not, not me. Because we've already killed him the first time, he is no longer amenable to talking. He just wants to fight now. You can see I'm doing basically no damage to him. That's because of his shield. His shield will fall off here, and I've successfully burned through all of my energy attacking his friends. Definitely don't stand in the Aether. And bosses are going to be a pain for a little while. The fact that he keeps interrupting my ability to channel is really annoying. So it's fine, I'll just keep moving, and he'll go down pretty quickly. Definitely more painful this time due to the energy issues. Because I took that helmet off, I'm betting. Alright, down he goes. Resistant of Butchery, okay. And the blueprint for the Explorer's Trousers, which I already have. Not a great total amount, but look at all those resistances. Poison, Elemental, Pierce, 57 health. I'm going to swap this out for the Skinner's Ring here, just to get some more resistances, which... Resistance is a king, followed by armor. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you know what, I'll take the Blood Reaper's Cleaver, even though I'm definitely not using it. Alright, let's go swap some components over. Let's get the Ectoplasm up here. And I, unfortunately, will be needing the Soul Shard here. Let's keep the add-on. I am tempted to... Actually, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to put another Ectoplasm on my ring, just to get the energy regen I need to sustain the extra damage I'm getting here. We will pretty quickly move away from Ectoplasms, but for now, it's fine. This is not the most energy regen we're going to need, and it is still draining, but it's going to be much quicker. Okay, so I'm done. I've got my hat, I've got my shoulders. Let's go ahead and report in, just get the extra bounty. You can see why people recommend not doing these for reputation, and I agree. Normal bounties are something I only ever do if I need a specific hero for an item drop. Even then, it's not great. Actually, there's another quest I can do back here at Old Arkovia, because there is the little town off to the side here. I was going to say, why didn't they get hit? I think they missed. So we can talk to Alicia here. Now that we have killed Crumbley, we get the scrap for free here, rather than having to pay for it. And we don't end up with any of their kids inside cages in Crumbley's lair, so... Definitely worth picking up the free reputation and scrap and whatever else we got there. Okay, don't have to fight this, but I'm going to because I don't like priests. In fact, I'm going back for that guy. I really don't like the priests in this game. Like I said last time, fighting a bunch of heroes, or even just a hero, or, heaven forbid, Musuloki, nemesis enemy, and then having him healed to full because you missed a priest standing behind a pillar or something, is one of the most infuriating things in this game, second only to stairs. Right, so I'm checking down here. There could be a totem. There's also potentially a quest that you can pick up here. You don't need to pick up the quest outside. You can pick it up from inside if you so desire. It's just easier if you pick it up from outside. You don't have to find as many on the inside if you do get it out here. There's also some hidden loot over this way, so I do like to come this way. Let's go ahead and kill all of you guys. And we'll grab the... Excuse me, I'm trying to get through here. Thank you. We'll grab the hidden loot here. And also, because that's not all, if you thought that was all of the hidden loot, you're wrong. Because we can go off the map here and go trek all the way over here. And we can have a look down here and see there's Minerva on the other side of the Arkovian Undercity. And we can pick these up. I probably should use those boots. In fact, I'm going to. The reason why I'm swapping these in is resistances. Aether resistance at the moment is not something I care about. The proc on those boots is nice, for sure. But just taking less damage from everything, basically, because you have good resistances, is a very big part of character building, I guess, or of leveling. You can get away with a lot less than this, especially if you're playing on normal, but I prefer not to. Alright, here is my Ancient Lectern. There is my quest item. This is the final place that it can spawn, the other place being in the center of this little area here. So if you didn't find it the first two, like I didn't, it will be where I did find it. So go ahead and pick it up. I've found one of three here. I'm going to have to find two once I'm inside, and they will be marked with a star on the map. If you didn't start this quest outside, then you will have to find three on the inside, and it will not be marked on your map until you find the first one. So I find it's better to pick up one outside, because you're going to be walking past them most likely anyway. So you may as well. Okay, good armor on those, but no. Devotion points, we are onto the Widow now, so some energy there is very nice. And actually, I'm going to boost my energy regen because I'm running out. Also got the damage bonus left over for this totem, although it's going to be... Okay, this could be a little bit of an issue. Let's put them in a choke point. That's a big issue. Standing in that green stuff is a huge issue. Alright, well, turns out it wasn't such a bad experience. That's most likely due to my resistances, but yeah. Okay, the extra vitality damage is quite nice. We are not shredding resistance yet. We will be once we get to here, but we can go a little bit. Okay, field spaulders of insight, another pair of shoulders, which I am sorely tempted by. I really like the insight proc for early on for this character, just for the energy issues, if nothing else. And I mean, realistically, there is nothing else on these shoulders. There's nothing else on there that I want. Very minor bonuses otherwise. 9% chaos resistance is a huge downgrade in resistances from the other one. Yeah, I think I can't use it, but I really would love that proc on another piece of gear. I believe you can get it on boots, gloves, and shoulders, and pants, and chest. It's probably all armor, actually. But I definitely would like it. Getting one or two of those and your energy resistance, or your energy issues, I should say, just completely disappear. Okay, I'm going to go this way because this is the way I've always gone. I don't know when I first discovered this little... it's not even a shortcut, really. It's an alternate route. That can sometimes be blocked. So I don't know when I discovered that little hidey hole there, but I've pretty much always that I can remember gone this way. And it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But this is where we're going to get a pretty big boost in power. We are almost guaranteed to get a Spectral Shield in this area. I think is it just called Spectral Shield? Spectral War Shield. Drops from the champions in here. So the ghosts that look like they have a shield have a 5-ish% chance, I think it is, to drop those shields. We're going to be fighting undead a lot here, actually. You can see on the map here this star for the lectern. I've got 2 now. If you didn't pick up the one from outside, you probably got 1 if you get this in the same spot that I did. And before I go into this room, at this point, make sure there are no priests around you because we're going to have to fight a boss here. This is going to be Laudos Vagra, who I didn't pick the quest up for this. But, sorry, this is No More Dread. My mistake. Laudos Vagra is on the next floor. But that's fine, we'll take him out. And he has dropped me a durable Spectral War Shield. Can't ask for more than that. If you don't get durable, don't stress about it, but it is a very good prefix for the physical resistance. That's durable, just gives you physical resistance and nothing else. And then of barricades, I think is going to be retaliation stuff. Maybe. Doesn't really matter. The reason we want this is all those bonuses to drain essence at the bottom. Increased target area means you can hit more stuff when you do get additional targets to attack. 25% chance of affecting up to 3 targets. And then adding retaliation damage to your attack, well, doesn't really matter. We'll be adding 13 additional damage to drain essence. The other really big thing here is minus 30 skill energy cost. This is a very hungry skill, and getting 30% off on the energy cost is really good. So we are going to take that. We are going to rip my add-on off of my Warden's Fortress. Now, I did lose 10% physical resistance here. 16% at this point in the game is still quite good. I mentioned in a Reddit thread about a week ago now, I think, that the blocking is kind of garbage. And most leveling characters could immediately be made better by swapping whatever shield they have for a 2-handed weapon. This, I guess, is one of the exceptions where I don't care about block. I am not investing in block. You could delete the block stat from this shield completely and I would still use it. Blocking is garbage. Shields are not. Let's just put it that way. And I guess I can go bank this stuff. So we're looking properly ghostly. We've got the Aether helmet and shoulders. We've got a ghost shield. There's a very good chance as well that on your journey through the Arkovian Undercity, you're going to find a ghost weapon that has a good effect on it as well. So keep an eye out for it. If you find one with Elemental Seal, it's a good shout. It's not the best thing in the world, but any kind of damage proc is probably pretty good. Okay, so how much energy are we not using now? Well, I'm not using any of the procs, and it is still going down, but it is much, much less. So good to see. Now, potentially I could get a better shield, maybe. I don't know. So I'm going to keep my eyes out open for that. But we're going to see a lot more instances of Drain Essence hitting 3-4 targets now. And something that came up in the last run-through of this character, dropping a portal here and heading outside, something that came up in the last instance of this character was that there is another item very similar to the shield in that it gives you a bunch of additional targets and some extra damage on Drain Essence. People pointed out, and rightly so, in the last one, that you can't really call it a beginner's playthrough if you're suggesting they go into the Steps of Torment and kill Ilgor. So that is a very difficult optional boss in a very difficult optional dungeon that has an item cost to get in. So I'm not going to be getting that this time through. However, if you, and I'm going to go do this now that I'm waffling about it, if you have the access quest, which you should have picked up out here, and I should have picked up out here, completing that quest will take you to the Steps of Torment, and it will give you 1 skeleton key, which will get you 1 run through the skeleton key dungeon Steps of Torment. Now, if you die in there, it's going to boot you out, and any loot you had in there is gone. So if you try to fight Ilgor and he kills you, that's it, you're done. You don't get the medal. If you go in there and die in any way at all, you don't get it. If you kill him and he drops the wrong thing, because he has 2 potential drops, if he drops the wrong one, that's it, you're done, you're finished. You don't have another skeleton key, you can't go in again and fight him again. You just don't get it. So I'm not going to go and do that. I'm not going to run the risk of having it, like last time, drop, and then I want to use it because it's really, really good. So I'm not going to do it, but it is there. It is a very good item. We do have an alternative that I will be using later, and thanks to 295th Street again for pointing this one out last time. We'll be using Nacrothan's medal, Mark of Nacrothan. That's going to be in Act 4 though, so we'll just use kind of whatever until we get there. But there is a much better option available if you want to do that. Now, I have the Old Scars quest now, and we are going to be completing that quest. I'll probably finish it off screen because it is a very long run, and if you're not going into the Steps of Torment, then there's no point. Although, now that I've said that, Steps of Torment does have a devotion shrine in it, so maybe I will just run out there and get the devotion shrine. We'll see how we go. Yeah, maybe I will. Alright, Spirit Totem. I'll take that. It's my friend again. Friend is in scare quotes because I really don't like him. Alright, what do we get? We got another shield. Resistant of Psyche. I'm probably not going to use that. But, you know, these are relatively common in here. 2 of the heroes, Nomos Dread and Laudos Vagra, have... I don't think it's a 100% chance to drop them, but it might be. And if it's not 100%, it's a very, very high chance. Frostborn of Frostbite. No. No. If this was Enchanters, I would use it for sure, because a higher level proc on the weapon is definitely good, but it's not. The Lightning Bolt, I'm also tempted by, but again, no. Lightning Bolt, Lightning is probably more effective than the Ice Spike because of the bonuses to Lightning that I have on my helmet. But yeah, that's fine. I would have to go back to town and swap stuff over, and I just don't want to. Okay. At this point, you also probably want to be putting another Soul Shard on your ring if you can, because one of the bosses, or the boss, at the end of the Arkovian Undercity on the 3rd level, does a kind of silly amount of vitality damage. So if you can resist that better, then you'll have an easier time. I don't currently have a second one unless I have one in the bank, which is possible, I guess. So I may end up having to just deal with it, I guess. We'll see. Totem potentially there. Just be careful with the totems. You're probably going to be fine, but it is something to be aware of. They can be a little rippy sometimes. This is another spot where you want to make sure you've killed all of the priests. I'm just going to max the skill out, rip the band-aid off, get all of the energy usage, and kind of work out at what point I'm fine. Here is Laudos Vagra, actually Laudos Vagra this time. We are ripping him to shreds, which is nice. And just avoid those. Okay, Frostborn on the longsword, Frostborn and Frostbite, so it's all cold stuff with the ghost things. Cold and Vitality, actually. And we've got another shield, so it seems like you're maybe not guaranteed to get 2 shields, but it's very, very likely. So Annihilation is Vitality stuff, which again you would expect, and Enduring I think is going to be the health. Only 5% Fizz Res on that, and not a high enough Vitality damage bonus to kind of worry about, so I'm not going to use that. Ice Spike for 311 hits 1 target with a chance to pass through. That's really bad even compared to my, what is that, level like 10 dagger there, so I'm not going to be using that. If I get an Elemental Seal proc on a weapon, I'll swap it, otherwise I'll just hang on to this one I have. You can see they're on the ground constantly. anything that walks into them will take more damage just because it's every second for the whole time they're in it. So there's really no good reason to swap for an inferior proc. And we are giving entire groups of enemies the suck now, which is really nice. I am on the lookout for a treasure trove, but I haven't found it as of yet. Lots of cold stuff in here. These guys here are really annoying candidates for getting healed as well. They have a lot of health. And any random priest in the area is probably going to try and kill them. Or heal them, rather. I'm trying to kill them. Totem potentially here. And if you don't get the totem, that's fine. There is also some loot in the walls here, which I like. So I'm going to go ahead and get them. Now, it's fairly regular that I find a... It's a gun, isn't it? Yeah. It's tempting, actually. So the Mage Storm prefix is one of the ones I'm going to be looking out for, because it is an Aether damage proc that just happens to have some lightning damage on it as well. So this is pretty good. Don't have the stats to use a gun, unfortunately. And I was just going to say, it's fairly normal for me to find at least one weapon going through here that has an Elemental Seal proc on it. So having not found that yet is a little surprising. It's not really distressing or worrying or anything like that, but it is surprising. Alright, Ravina Kerr here has the crossbow, Spectral Arbalest here, so we could get some bonuses to Spectral Binding, which that's a lot of health, but yeah, I'm not going to use that. Pick up the blues that I'm also not going to use, and we'll be on our way. There is, again, some hidden loot down here. Treasure Trove potentially can be down here as well. Doesn't look like I've got it this time. More ectoplasm, lovely. Yeah, I don't think so. Storm Scorch shoulder guards, unlikely to be better than the current ones. Got lots of lightning stuff. A lightning proc when hit is not good. Any damage proc that you get when you are hit is a minor bonus at best, because a lot of the time you're going to be killing things before they hit you. So you want damage procs that happen when you hit things, not when things hit you. I've also just noticed a Mark of the Traveler, which I'm going to put on my boots. I don't think I've had one before now, but you will get one somewhere in Act 2 most of the time. And here is my treasure trove, which there's only one more place I know of where this can spawn, so I was starting to get a little bit worried if it wasn't here. You will get two rare crafting components every single time you open a treasure trove. They are completely random. Some are obviously much better than others. These two are okay, but not amazing. Padala's Will is one of the blue items that I see almost every run-through, and it is pretty good. The only reason I'm not telling you to immediately equip this once you find one is because we're using an offhand monster infrequent for the build. So as good as +1 to all necromancer skills is, we can't use that because we want the shield. This is the point at which you want to get as much vitality resistance as you can, because Kilrian on the other side of this gate does silly amounts of vitality damage. I was holding control there with my hand. I don't know why. I'm wondering why I'm not moving. So, can I get any more vitality resist? Well, the easiest way is 2 soul shards. I don't think I have a second one, and I need the energy regeneration anyway, so I'm probably just going to wing it with 40% and kind of cross my fingers. This is not a good approach. If you have any, random low-level pants, for example, that maybe have vitality resist on them, consider putting them on. If you have some, here we go, some rubbish chest piece that just happens to have 33% on it, go ahead and chuck it on. I can't wear my... Okay, alright, well, I guess I'm just gonna risk it for the biscuit, and unfortunately in this case, there's no biscuit. So I want to clear the outside ring of all of his friends, especially the ones that glow yellow. I want to kill those off before I go up near him. Sometimes you will not be able to get these floor people to spawn before you have to fight him. I'm very glad I'm fighting this before he shows up. So just, if you see anything with a yellow glow, stop attacking him and go kill it. Don't care so much about the ghosts. And you do want to stay in melee range as much as you can. Because he has a dart that he will shoot at you, that, yeah, it hurts. I remember him being a whole lot harder to kill than this too. And he has not dropped his component for me. He is the only boss in the game that I'm aware of that has his own very own personal chest component. So it looks like one of these, but it's a little more red. It's Kilrian's Shattered Soul. He's the only place you can get that chest component. And it is a vitality and fire damage component. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Sigil of Consumption on your offhand is also quite good. Can I get that actually on my shield? Is it possible? You can get that on the shield. So if you did get the Sigil of Consumption on your shield, congratulations. Durable of Annihilation, pretty good. As long as I'm playing with Grim Tools. It doesn't look like there's anything particularly great for Aether damage on shields. Supercharged is lightning stuff. Wraith Warded on a shield is actually pretty good. That would be +2 to Spectral Binding. There's not a whole lot of good options, actually. Anyway, durable of whatever is the goal for leveling. Definitely don't spend too much time farming this stuff. Just get whatever and move on. We'll be replacing it later. The reason I'm still here is I wanted to mention the treasure trove can potentially spawn here. Get some more Aether damage, more physique, and spirit. So now I can wear that chest for the resistances. Actually, is that worth wearing? Poison Nova? Nah, not really. Alright. So we're done here, and we have to rift out. So now's a good time to go and empty my inventory. Double check my components, make sure I didn't swap some gear and forget to move components over. I'm pretty happy that that's done. Spellmaker's gloves, yeah, maybe. No. Actually, Kilrian's weapon is one you want to consider. So, the Word of Renewal bonuses there, we will be taking Word of Renewal. +3 to Steel Resolve, we will be taking Steel Resolve. So those are kind of okay. Make the heal on Word of Renewal a little bit bigger. But he's dropped Superior of Ruin for me, so no. If he had dropped an Aether damage proc, I would absolutely be using it. But he didn't. I could have swapped a ring out. That wouldn't have helped. That's fine. Those I can actually wear now. Swamp Dwellers. I've got 2 pairs. That's a lot of armor. A lot of resistances. The question is, do I need poison and acid? The answer is no. +2 to Spectral Binding is nice. It is. But I think I'm just not... Oh, that much armor, though. Okay, so losing these, I lose PS resist, but I'm still capped, so that's fine. Poison, I'm still capped, that's fine. Bleeding, I'm definitely not capped. But that's also kind of fine, because there's not a whole heck of a lot of bleeding. Although we are about to run into some bleeding, so... I think I need the armor. Yeah. I need to swap it for the armor, if nothing else. You can have these things as well. And I'm going to put that on my back page. Okay. I need to make the swap for the armor. Those small numbers for resistances are not going to make or break the build, so kind of got to let it go. Okay, we are done there, and we're off to the Broken Hills now. This is why earlier I dropped a personal rift on the inside. I grabbed the quest for Lutra and I picked up this. It's so as I can rift straight here and I don't have to run back from the 3rd floor or from the other side. So we're going to run through here. Am I going to come back? That is the actual question, isn't it? Because the Steps of Torment is in the southeast of this area. It's a decent run, but it would get me some quest completion and a devotion shrine. I think I am. I'm going to drop a rift here, and I'm going to push forward to the next rift gate, and then we're going to come back. Because again, I don't really want to have to do this multiple times. Running through an area, especially one that you've already deleted the population of, shall we say, is not fun. Give everyone the suck on the way past. And is it this one right here? Yes, it is. Okay, when you see this little square section on the map, that's where Lutra lives. And we need to go and pay her a beating. Mummy said you've been very naughty and you're grounded, and go to your room. So Lutra's mum is actually the one who sent us to kill her, because she's a harpy now, so apparently that's a bad thing. Anyway, it'll get us an attribute point for that quest, so absolutely want to be killing her. And we'll grab this devotion shrine. Very, very cheap. Everybody will have a polished emerald at this point. Plague Bearers of Decay. Nova for actually not bad damage, but no. And we are 2 points away. So we've got some Aether and Vitality resistance. That would have been useful. Next up, we get Lightning and Aether damage, and offensive ability, and then we get the Mother Load, the Arcane Bomb. At which point I am going to need a second attacking skill to attach the Imp to. We'll see how we go. I might just chuck 1 point into Inquisitor just to get the Word of Pain online. We will be using Word of Pain later for Aether-resistant shredding. But we've got some other stuff to get first. Now, like I said, I'm just pushing forward to get to the next Rift Gate. Do be careful. This is where the Mistborn Mountain Men dudes start coming in. Some of them will throw nets on you, and you better be able to survive with everybody beating on you. Some of those heroes hit very, very hard, so just be aware. And be a little bit cagey if you see one of them with a star above his head, because potentially that can be a run-ender. I generally don't go through their camps here, just to kind of avoid that. I thought I saw a star there. Anyway, I'm walking away. Alright, next rift attained. I am going to go back, and we're going to go for a run through the Steps of Torment. So we're going to go up this way. Also, this is an ancient totem. Probably will be fine. It will depend on what comes out of it, though. And so, because it will depend on what comes out of it is not something that I like to risk my character on, I'm probably not going to do it. There is a very good chance that that was a good pair of pants there. Impervious of Dancing Shadows. Dancing Shadows gives you the chance to avoid attacks in melee, which is quite good for a build like this where you're channeling. Unfortunately, the armor loss is probably not worth it. We could definitely maths that out, but I'm definitely not going to. Yeah, so this is an ancient spirit totem. Depending on what comes out of it, like I said, it could be fine or it could be the end of your character. So I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it. If it was ancient savage totem, I'd probably do it. Spirit and Aether Warped are quite dangerous, though. Let's go ahead and get the hidden spoils here. Again, loot off the map, always fun. Rarely actually useful, but you know, occasionally you'll get something good out of it, and it's always fun. So we've made it to the Steps of Torment here. I believe it's actually called the Steps of Torment. Yeah, it is. So we're going to go in. Do not pick up this quest unless you want to kill a very difficult boss or have another quest sitting here. I've mostly come down here to get rid of the quest to come talk to Calderos. Mostly. I'll leave that for now. We'll just get some more damage at the cost of even more energy drain. That's fine. Okay, so there are 3 things that I want in this place. Well, 4 things if you include stuff like XP. 5 for items, and anyway. 3 major things in here. There is a treasure trove, there is an exalted stash for a guaranteed blue item, and there is a devotion shrine, which is actually the main reason I'm coming in here. So let's go ahead and get those. You're not going to find them on this first floor, although there is some nice hidden loot here. Aetherfire Book of Frostbite, I think it was. Aetherfire, I don't think is going to give me a proc. Nope. So I'm not interested in that. Also, Respected with the Rovers is quite good. Also, the book is not a ghost shield, so I'm not going to use that anyway. Alright, let's push through here. And the first, I guess second actually, location that I want to check is just in this cell for the treasure trove, which is not there. Now, I didn't actually look in the first place where the treasure trove could be. So back up there, in the very leftmost corner, potentially is your treasure trove, or is my treasure trove actually. I didn't look, or at least I don't remember looking. If I did look and didn't see it, then I didn't register it in my brain. Next place, I think it can spawn along here somewhere. I'm not confident on this one, actually. But I think it spawns along there as well. Either way, it's not there this time, so I'm going to move on. Old mate Mr. Champion here potentially can drop me a shield, so I will go back for him. Killing Ghost is always a good idea. If nothing else, we're getting reputation with the Rovers, which can be a little hard to get, so I had a feeling there was some more loot in the walls there. It's not uncommon if I don't come into the Steps of Torment here. It's not uncommon for me to get to level 35, want to equip Rover's reputation stuff, and not have the reputation to buy it. So coming in here will ensure that you do have the reputation required to use the items. I am going to be using one Rover's item at level 35. So I've already got the reputation for that, which I'm pretty happy about. This blockage in the wall there, or in the doorway, I'm not happy about that. But I also don't think anyone really cares. Alright, there's my devotion shrine. I'm going to clear the area completely. I do not want priests in the area interfering with this fight, so they all have to go. Go on, shoot me. Thank you. And yeah, I'm just going to make sure there's nothing like these guys hiding under the ground. I'm going to kill them off. Come down here, pop this. Anyone else want to come on out? Doesn't look like it. Oh, no. There we go. Alright, when you activate this, you're going to get some spawn on the other side of the wall. But, click on that. There we go. So I'm looking for priests. I want to kill them first. I don't think I've got any priests yet. On the other side, nope. No priests this time. Okay, well that's kind of fine. Stonehide of attack on a chest piece is pretty good. Don't have the physique for that, unfortunately. Or do I? No, not even close. Let's go Spirit to 15, and I think maybe we'll start putting more points into physique now. I am seriously tempted by this belt, even though it is a pet prefix and a pet suffix, and I get basically nothing out of it. 30 armor instead of 10 is quite a big increase. As I explained, I think in the first episode, any source of armor that is not one of the actual armor pieces on this list here will apply to all of them. So going from 10 to 30 on my belt will give me 20 extra armor on every single slot. Just checking for damage procs on any weapons here. I don't think I'm going to use any of them anyway. And we can now chuck that point in there for 50% increased damage. And at this point, I'm going to run along this bottom edge to get the, hopefully the treasure trove, but the exalted stash. Checking up here for treasure trove, it's not there. And one of these floors, I think it's actually inside the Skeleton Key dungeon, has a very large sort of hidden area along that edge. It's not here though. So I'm looking for the treasure trove. I'm not seeing it. I think it spawns along this lower edge here somewhere, or it can. More ghosts, more better. There's a new shield for consideration. Hey buddy, you try to run away. And we won't be having any of that. Demonic of Celery is not bad. Celery is great. It's good for you. Always eat your celery. and the cast speed is pretty good too. Okay, let's have a look at this shield. Now, it's a higher level. What do you get out of a higher level shield? Well, you get a higher chance to block, and you get more vitality damage if you hit someone with it, and you get higher level affixes, and that's kind of it. Now, this shield is pretty good for pierce and bleed resistance, which is nice. The extra armor is also nice, but this really isn't that big of an increase. I think I'd rather have the 10% physical resistance, so I'm just not going to use that, even though it is a higher level. Here's my beautiful treasure trove right next to the Exalted Stash. And a level as well. It's like all my Christmases have come at once. Alright, what's my blue? We've got the Crown of Infernal Gems. +1 to soldier skills from memory. Yep, that's actually not a bad chunk of armor now that I'm looking at it. The rest of that is kind of pants. Yeah, I'm going to say no to that. And I'm also going to say this is a good place to stop. Now, if you didn't get your Exalted Stash, it can be over here in one of these cells. Not these ones. It can be in, I want to say in here, just there, or just here. So get your Exalted Stash, and then let's get out of here. Zarthuzalan is just across a bridge. It's about here. He's kind of here-ish, and he's a little bit scary. Lots of fire damage. Even with 80% resistance, he is decently scary. So I don't really feel the need to kill him. That's also where the door is for the Skeleton Key dungeon, and yeah, I don't have the Skeleton Key to open it anyway, although if I killed Zarthuzalan, I could go back to the door and pick that quest up, and the quest reward there is the Skeleton Key. But I'm just not gonna. Zarthuzalan is decently rippy, and I don't think the rewards for killing him, for risking your life to kill him, are worth it. Having said that, though, that would be a good time to go and kill Ilgor if you're playing normal and if you're feeling lucky. So, up to you at the end of the day if you want to go in there and give it a shot. The medal for killing him is either potentially no good or really, really good if you get the correct one to drop. But you're only going to have one shot at it, and it feels kind of cheaty, I guess, for me to go in there and say, hey, check out this really, really hard boss that you're going to have to kite around a whole lot because he hits like a truck, and then, you know, you're not guaranteed to get the item from him anyway, and there's a good chance you're going to die, so if you're playing on hardcore, just no. It's, yeah, it's not good. Alright, some more energy cost. This is our main skill maxed out. It's time to go do some other stuff, so let's jump on over to Inquisitor. I want 1 point in Word of Pain, I want 1 point in Word of Agony, I want Death Sentence maxed out, I want this whole line maxed out, I want Inquisitor Seal maxed out, I want 1 point in here, and that's kind of it. I don't have points for that yet, so I will put 1 point into Word of Pain. This is not worth casting at this point, so I'm just going to not, and move on. But I do want to get a point into it. I probably should have left it for now, but yeah, what's done is done. There is potentially a totem just here. Now, this is an Ancient Savage totem. You should be fine. If it spawns golems, kill them immediately. Watch out for their big rocks that they're going to be throwing at you. Those rocks are the character-ending threat from this totem. So watch out for them. Make sure you kill the guys who throw them at you as fast as you can. And if you see them, make sure you evade them, because they will end you. I have lost characters to this totem before. Alright, time for the Act 2 boss. Kind of. Maybe, depending on how you look at it. Voldrak is a little bit scary. You can stay in melee range with him, or you can kind of kite around him. Force Wave type attack. He also has big wind-up attacks. That's one of them. I'm going to try and kind of kite him a little bit. You can also just get in his face and dodge his biggest attack, which is definitely possible. That kind of hurt. The one you want to really, really want to dodge is his big two-handed overhead slam. Aether Fire is really nice, but really not on a two-handed weapon. So yeah, you can kill him pretty easily. Hopefully for you, he drops his blueprint, because he has a blueprint called the Mistborn Talisman. He's one of like I think it's just 2 actually bosses who can drop it. It's quite rare. I don't think we're going to need it, but it is used in some crafting recipes, or at least it used to be. So you may need it, which you'll probably find that out at the same time I do. I'm not planning on using any items that need it, but maybe. And it's a good blueprint to just have for your account, if you don't already have it. Okay, let's fight our way through here to this rift gate. And this is where I'm going to end today's episode. So a little bit longer yesterday, and a little bit shorter today. But yes, I would like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.